for this. I'm going to admit everybody, and we are just rocking and rolling here
Here we go.
on a Wednesday morning. So I saw Billy Joel and Sting the other night.
How was that?
Other than the pouring rain, we got soaked.
It was outside. Oh my God.
It was his Christmas present that I bought 6 months ago. So I was like, oh my God, the anticipation.
Yeah.
But you know, even when it was pouring rain, it didn't matter. It didn't rain during Sting. It poured Billy Joel, but when you're having that much fun and you have a rain slicker on, who cares?
You'll always remember that. I mean, that now becomes a memorable night.
That memorable night, and trying to get a Uber out of San Diego an hour and a half after a concert. So
way to ruin the whole night, right?
You know what? No, we ended up in a rickshaw and all this other stuff. So
oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I was just talking to Sharon about I think it's Friday night or Saturday night, I don't remember which. They are running Billy Joel's
they just did
concert, the one in New York at Madison Square Garden. Yeah,
where
it's going to be again.
It is again
this weekend. Yeah, I said
watch it.
Turn that on. Yeah.
It got cut off early for some reason, so they are rerunning it.
Oh, it is. It did.
Yep.
Look at Entertainment News reporter.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm good for something.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I absolutely didn't know that. So, okay, we are rocking and rolling here. People are coming on. I always like to see who's here this morning. Got some new faces, got some familiar faces. If you've never been on Wake Up Wednesday before, open up your mic and say hi and tell us where you're from. If it's
we have any newbies.
Hey, it's Carlin Felder here. I just saw it on the workplace chat today, so I thought I would join. And I'm in Beacon, New York, which is just north of New York City by about an hour by train.
Wonderful. Well, we do this every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we do this. We have different guest speakers, and sometimes it's just us chatting about what's going on. So we hope you put this on your calendar and come back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You've been super consistent with this, Peggy, haven't you?
2 years. It's going to be in June.
That's really crazy.
2 years. I just can't get over it. I'm so excited. And we have our retreat, our second annual retreat coming up at Jean and Susan's Lake House, May 6th. And we have, I think, 2 openings left.
That's awesome. I got to tell you, Michelle Mamo went to the last one and she still talks about it to this day. So
she said in Cabo, in front of a group of people, unsolicited, that it was the best event she has ever been to.
That's big because she came up through KW and EXP and she goes to everything. So that's huge.
So that was a huge, huge compliment. But anyways, for those, until we jump into the subject, Monica, we became fast friends a year ago.
That was a little over a year ago, wasn't
it? A little over a year ago.
Yes.
And what I say, when we see each other, we become inseparable. And so, quick story. You know how we always talk about 6 degrees of separation, and you're like, people are really close and you never have any idea who's around you or what's going on. A group of us went out to dinner. It was farm to table. What was it called? LaFleur's. Well, something like that.
Flora Farms.
Amazing.
Cabo.
In Cabo. I'm coming home on the plane. I'm sitting next to these 2 brothers, and they're kind of getting into a little bit or whatever, and we're talking, and they asked me if I went to Flora Farms. They said, oh, did you have a chance to go to Flora Farms? I said, yes. I told them when we're there. They're like, no way, we were there. And they showed me a picture. And remember, behind you and Sharon, there was the glass with all the hanging glass going on. That's where they're sitting at the exact same time that we're sitting there. And I had taken a picture of you guys across the table, and off to the side was a gentleman. They're on the other side. They had taken a picture of their table. I get the head of the guy from the back, and they have his face.
No way.
Swear to God.
That is small world stuff. Oh my
So-
God. Like you were meant to know them for some reason.
I was meant to know them, which reminds me, I have to call them. So while we're jumping on, and before we get into the subject, you are an amazing woman, successful. I mean, she's done it all. And one of the things that I don't think we realize at our company or at any company, we see board of directors. What does that really mean to you, Monica? And why do you do that? Because that's a huge role.
It was an amazing opportunity. So I sit on the board of directors for eXp Realty's parent company, which is eXp World Holdings, which is the actual EXPI symbol on the NASDAQ. That's the company that is publicly traded. And eXp Realty is just one of the entities under eXp World Holdings. So I'll tell you what, I'll tell you why I sit on the board. And this will be like a great lesson for all of us to remember. Years ago, we were, what was the event? Jason Guessing was coming to Cincinnati to speak, and eXp was really new. I was one of the first agents in Cincinnati to join in August of 17. And this was probably in 2018, and Jason was coming in to kind of meet with some big hitters here and try to get this city going. And I said to David Best, who was our broker at the time, can I pick him up from the airport? Right? This is it. Because now I'm going to have 20 minutes in the car at minimum with this guy at the time who was holding, I think, the president's position of the company. And so David's like, that'd be great, because David wasn't in Cincinnati. So I picked Jason Guessing up from the airport. This is how new it was. I thought Jason was one of the founders. Like, I didn't even know who the heck he was. I'm like, when you and Glenn were talking about this, he's like, no, I had nothing to do with that. Okay. So I ended up spending about an hour with him that day. He was so kind. And we just formed a friendship. And we kept in touch over the years. And on EXPI's board of directors, eXp World Holdings board of directors, there is always an agent representative on the board. How amazing is that? Very uncommon. Tells you so much about the intent behind our existence here. And Fee Gentry had been the agent member. If you guys don't know her, she's an amazing agent and leader in our company. And she, her 2-year time was up. Jason, I'll never forget. Jason called me and I look at my phone. I'm like, Jason Guessing's calling me. That's weird. And I was in my bedroom at a house I owned prior to this one. I'll just never forget it. And he's like, hey, are you aware that we have an agent on the board? And are you aware of Fee Gentry? And are you aware that she's stepping off now? And would you be willing to throw your hat in the ring for that spot? I was like, this is Monica in Cincinnati. Like, are you sure? I'm thinking that is way above my pay grade in some ways. And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. We're interviewing other agents or whatever. So went through the process, ended up getting selected. My 2 years is up in June, but Glenn asked me to sit on for another year, which was a huge honor. So I got to tell you guys this, and this is what I think you'll care most about. I was worried to get in that spot and get what I call like too close to the sun, right? Because I love this company and what it has done for our industry and what it has done for you guys and what it has done for me personally. I am a giant fan. And I thought, ooh, am I going to get behind the curtain too close to the sun and get burned and not like what I see? And I am here to tell you, I am so pleased. And every single board meeting we have is all about you. Everything Glenn says is, Monica, what do you think? How will the agents respond to that? Monica, what do you think? Monica, from your standpoint, blah, 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 blah. They're just very, very concerned with our well-being. Now, does that always mean we have to make the perfect decisions for all of us? No, I mean, we're running a publicly traded company. We've got other things to consider as well, but I'm here to tell you, they always have your best interest. And that's just been really rewarding for me to see. So that's that.
I think that's Amazing.
You know what's really funny? It's me and a bunch of billionaires sitting around a table. I gotta tell you, like when you talk about getting in the right rooms and proximity matters or whatever, but I'm sometimes sitting at this table, I'm like, billionaire, 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 like like from Cincinnati. It's crazy. It's crazy cool. Yeah.
But I love that from the moment we met, you were sincere, genuine, your integrity was there. And I believe, and of course I'm biased because I love you and Sharon madly, but I believe you really do represent us. And you're welcome. And I think the agents need to understand that we have an amazing representation. This is just not a group of people sitting in an office, which is great to have those types of offices. This is, as you said, a publicly traded company where the whole world looks at what we're doing. And you represent us. So when people talk about an agent-centric company, I want you to stop for a moment and say, tell me what that means. And be confident and know that you can ask the question, so are you publicly traded? Do you have an agent that represents all of you sitting at those meetings? And would you like to meet her? Because she's real and she'll take your call. And I bet you a couple of those billionaires would take those calls too, because I know a few of them on the board. But
they're amazing. They're just real people
Yeah.
too. Just happen to be mega successful. And I like being in those rooms. I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot for sure. And I think one of the reasons they said yes to me was because I have never run a big giant team. I'm not some sort of mega agent, which is amazing, but is not, far and away the general population here. I'm an individual agent that's been doing this for 21 years, that's had a high level of success, but I'm not doing 100 deals a year. I'm doing anywhere from 30 to 45 deals a year pretty consistently, making a nice living. And I think they liked that I am in touch with kind of what I'll call the average agent, which I put myself in that space, meaning we're not, running some big conglomeration out of multi-states or whatever. Yeah.
And everyone in this company is truly approachable.
This is true.
Everyone is approachable. Okay. I want to take one question. Who's got a burning desire to ask Monica something? Anybody? And you can ask her anything.
I see Sarah. Hi, Sarah. And I thought I saw Anna. Yeah. Hi, Anna. I know a couple of y'all.
Nobody's got a question.
Let's dig in. Let's dig in.
Let's go.
Let's go. I want to hear it from you, girl. Okay, so 2 questions.
Okay.
I'm headed to a broker meeting, so I'm going to have to jump off here a little bit earlier than I'd like to. But we have a local MLS that is owned by 5 real estate association boards. It's the only one in the state of Kentucky that's like this. So I don't sit on the MLS board now, but in their meeting yesterday, they had a discussion about how are we going to handle cooperating brokerage? How are we going to put this out to our fellow agents in a way that is going to be expedient, right?
And legal.
And legal. So Monica, what are your thoughts on that? What are some of the solutions or workarounds? What's being talked about? Because this is an independent broker, and she said, I've been surprised that some of these franchises don't know anything about what's going on. And I said, well, I can assure you EXP is ahead of the curve. And I said, we've already been addressing some of these things early on, but let me get a little more information about that and I'll get back to you. And I'm going to see her today at this broker meeting. So I'd like to have a little something. And I got a call into Elizabeth Monarch. Just want to pick her brain about it as well. But go ahead.
And Elizabeth, who's an incredible broker that runs Kentucky, will probably have more insight. They are talking about that at that regional broker level a lot. And I don't know is the answer. I know that there will be a solution. We always figure it out. There'll be a solution that we all understand, that we all know how to access, whatever that is. I think EXP's exclusives product, guys, if you have not signed up for EXP exclusives, let me tell you what that is in like kind of layman's terms. Have you guys heard of this? It's backed by a third-party kind of back end called ZenList. So you guys have probably seen that. Because EXP is a single independently owned brokerage, one company, we're not franchised. Because of that, we are considered one office. And in most situations, agents can advertise their listings ahead of time to their own office. Well, that gives us an incredible edge because now we have EXP exclusives, which is our inner office, single platform to put your listing out maybe prior to being on MLS, if that's what your sellers want or whatever. So I think, Sarah, we're going to be able to maybe do some things there. Now, that only, of course, covers EXP listings. I understand that. But I think we will find a way to communicate that information. And if not, then we will find a way to have to navigate that as agents, but we'll figure it out. I don't have a good answer for you because we don't know what's going to be allowed. I think we're waiting for the DOJ to come down with some statements around in July on this.
And
So,
that's what
Monica-
my response to her was, I'm sorry, Peggy.
No,
My
I just want
response to her was that the attorneys simply don't have an answer yet.
Nobody does. Nobody
Oh.
does. There's not an answer. So if you guys are like, wait, I'm so behind, I don't know what's going on. You're not. You're not. You're
No.
right in with all the rest of us. Sarah, it's a great question. I wish I had like some inside scoop, but I think they're not wanting to make a solution right now because that might not be the best solution based on what we figure out in July. Like we need to know what is the final situation here and then how do we navigate it best? I know they've got a laundry list of ideas. I just don't know which one's going to bubble up as the right one.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I'm curious to hear what Peggy's got to say.
No, I just want to make sure that everyone got what you said. It's called EXP exclusives.
Exclusives. And you have to register. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to put in your listings separately. It doesn't syndicate. I don't know if it ever will. That will be nice if it does. But you can put in really basic information. Like I saw one the other day in my area. Looked like a great house. It didn't have a price on it yet. So I called the agent. I'm like, hey, what are we doing with this one? This one looks good. She's like, oh, it's going to be $850. I'm like, okay, that's out of my guy's range. That's why it looked good. Right. But that's the whole thing is then I had a conversation and she said, well, what are you looking for? And I told her and she said, oh, so-and-so in my office is getting ready to list that. Call them. Awesome. Now I got a sneak preview on that house because of something happening inside of EXP exclusives because I was using it because I'm hunting for my buyers. I'm not just putting my portal in and waiting to see what bubbles up. I'm going out hunting, turning over rocks, looking, FISBOs, talking to agents that sell in that area. What do you got? What do you got? I can't tell you how many houses I've sold over my years by doing a little extra. So I hope you guys are going to work for your buyers.
That's a really good point. And it is because we are one single independent company that we can do this. We're not franchised and national. So, and can you find listings in other states?
Yeah, you see the whole thing.
And so the whole country, guys. Perfect.
Yeah, I think it's global, actually, which is really cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Jump in because we're super excited. You've got slides. I know you want to share your screen.
Slides. I've got things to show you. I've got stuff. All right, guys. So nothing is more on our mind than this NAR thing, correct? I mean, evidence, and Sarah, who's an amazing agent out of Paducah, Kentucky, you know, she's thinking about this. Everybody is thinking about this, whether you're brand new and feel like you're a little bit lost or you're a tenured agent like Sarah is. This is on everybody's mind and everybody has questions. You're not behind. Now, if you do not take action now on what I think are the three most important things for you to do right now, then I believe you will be left behind. So you're good, but you need to participate in the change that's going on. You need to be a part of the change. You need to make sure your business is adjusting with the market. So what I'm going to show you today is just what I'm doing. This is not an entire list of things that can be done. These are the things that I think position me, and I've been through a lot of shifts, guys. I've been through them. And the reason you lose during a shift is if you ignore it. That's when you lose. So if you put your head in the sand, you just kind of like, well, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. Well, it's not going to work this time. And it doesn't usually work. And that's why we have agents leaving all the time. And I don't want anybody on this call or anybody in our company feeling like they get pushed out because they didn't make some key adjustments. So I'm just going to share with you what I'm doing. I don't have this thing completely figured out yet because it's new. So I have one thing completed. I have another thing I'm working on. Actually, 2 of the 3 things I'm in the middle working on, one of them is completed. But I think it's cool to be able to share with you like the direction I'm heading to give you guys some ideas. And also I love hearing ideas from other people. I'm learning all the time on, you know, what you're doing. So good if I just share kind of with you the workflow I'm in right now. Is that going to be helpful?
Please.
Great. All right. I'm going to share my screen. And you tell me when you can see it. Should
Got
be
it.
now. Yep. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Guys, you have a choice right now. You have power. I know sometimes when these things happen, we feel powerless. We feel like somebody's, you know, moving our cheese, so to speak. You guys remember that book?
Long time. People.
Yeah, that was like one of the first self-improvement books I ever read. And then I got addicted to that stuff. So I want you to know you're in charge. You have complete power here. It's your choice. You have 3 choices. I believe agents are going to take one of these 3. They're going to take a dive, meaning they're out for any number of reasons. They were already almost out, and this is the thing that pushed them over. They just can't take it. They're too stressed out. They don't know how to adjust, whatever it is. The next thing is this kind of middle group that I'm actually most concerned about, which is the agents that are just going to kind of barely survive through the next couple of years, and then ultimately they're going to get out. And then there will, and I promise you, there will be agents that level up their business and not just survive, but they're going to thrive through this. And there is not a single reason in the world that that can't be you. Anytime there's like a seismic shift like this, it is your turn to level up. It's actually the easiest time to level up that there is because the competition falls away. So it's not like you're out fighting everybody in a really solid market like we've kind of had for the last 3 years, as far as selling goes anyway, right? So I want to look at these 3 categories. The barely surviving, and I did put this as literally half of the market. I believe, and when I say market, I mean agents. I believe that half of us are going to sort of limp through these changes. And then that creates an unstable foundation for your business going forward. I think there will be a small portion of us that will thrive, that will level up our business, that will create even a better foundation moving forward, right? And then, of course, we already know there are lots of people getting out of the business. They didn't renew their license. It was an excuse not to. They just feel overwhelmed and frustrated, probably on the line already, and wanted to go. So let's look at each of these and what I want you to keep an eye out as far as you know, your life goes. The take a dive group, the guys that are getting out, they're going to operate out of fear. So check your mind. Are you worried about this? Nothing to be worried about. This is just a shift. Just requires a pivot. That's it. The bottom's not falling out. Nobody's taking away your money. They're just taking away how we talk about it, how we position it, maybe where it comes from. It's all there. If you have your standards, if you have your unique selling value, your money is still there, and I believe there's more to be had. If you have a victim mindset, I can't believe they did this, freaking DOJ, freaking NAR, freaking this is awful, it's awful, this is horrible, another thing that makes my life, that's victim mindset, guys. And if you're there, I need you to work on that really, really hard right now. That is poison. That is toxic. That makes you freeze. Please, please be aware of that. And if it's in your mind about this, it's likely in your mind and other places in your life too. That victim mindset it's contagious in your own brain. All right, so these guys are just gonna bag out. Maybe they put their license back. Maybe they just don't renew it. I don't know, but they're out, okay? This group is the one that actually, like I said, oops, what happened? Why did that happen? I'm trying to get my face out of the way here. Okay, this is the one I'm most worried about. This is you if you're kind of ignoring this whole thing right now and just like, I don't mean not worrying about it. I love that you're not worrying about it, but maybe you're not doing anything about it. You're not engaging in educating yourself. I watch a YouTube video just about every single day on this subject because I want to have ideas. I want to have language. I want to see how other people, and I'm careful about who I'm following, obviously, and I want you guys to be too, but I'm watching anywhere from a 30 to an hour-minute video almost every day on this subject. Okay? And I think that's important because you're going to get like, ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, I like that a lot. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, I'm going to use that language. Oh, I like the way he's talking about this. Oh, I like that idea she gave. Okay? I worry about you if this is like business as usual, nothing is happening, and I'm just going forward. Yeah, some level of good to that. But again, we do have to pivot. We do have to shift. We have to level up. All right. And this is if you're just like, I'm not making any changes. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of your standards and your value. I think you get what I'm saying here, right? Does this make sense? This is who I'm worried about. These guys will survive for a year or two, and then they won't. And I don't want that to be you. So I don't want this to be a false sense of I'm okay because I'm ignoring it. That's dangerous. That's dangerous, okay? And then there's going to be those of us on this call, because every one of you is going to thrive through this. I believe it in my heart. You're going to elevate your communication. You're going to learn how to speak differently. I find that most agents struggle with something in front of a client when they just don't have the language to use. And that if given the language, we're okay. So I want you to work on that. Go listen to other people's language. Take every training you can on this. I'm going to give you an example that doesn't have anything to do with this, but this is the silliest example. But it tells you kind of how powerful language is. I was talking to a really successful agent in Cincinnati. This was years ago, actually. And I had just had his ear for a minute. So I like asking great questions. And I hope you guys do too, because questions are everything. And I said, Peter, you happen to have probably the best time management skills I've ever seen. Like he has standards. He defines when he works and when he doesn't. And I'm like, what are your two best bits of advice around that? How did you get there? And he said, somebody gave me this language once, and it is, I'm fully committed. And he said, so when somebody asks me, can I do this or whatever, I say, I'm fully committed. How about tomorrow at 2 instead? And this little phrase literally like exploded my brain. And I know it sounds so stupid. And some of you are like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And some of you are like, Monica, that's ridiculous. Why is that such a big deal? But I never wanted to lie. And I felt I'm a people pleaser, as many of you are. And I was like, it's hard for me to say no. And I just don't want to say, I just don't want to lie or whatever. That phrase gave me the language to use when confronted with something I didn't want to do. Hey, I'm fully committed at that time. How about tomorrow too? I could be fully committed to my couch, right? I could be fully committed to anything. So that little bit, and what I mean by like, get your language right is know what you're going to say to these sellers, know what you're going to say to these buyers, and whether you know it or not, these are scripts. And many of us think scripts are awful. Scripts are not awful. You just don't like other people's scripts. You have scripts. You say the same thing over and over again in certain situations. When you tell a story, you've told it 100 times, you're using a script. It's your script. I need you to get your script, your language that is super comfortable, what you're saying to sellers. You're going to have 3 objections that come up over and over and over again on this subject on both sides. Get your language around those 3 objections. The only way you're going to learn what those are is get out there and experiment and fail forward, right? Go fail a bunch around this. That is how you're going to get good at this. Don't think you're going to like pile up all your information, get your language, practice your little script, go out and knock them dead every single time. You're not. You're going to get sideswiped by something. Great. You'll never get sideswiped by it again. Awesome. Right? The group that's going to thrive sees the opportunity. This is, and I don't mean SEIZE, although that applies here. I mean, you see this. You see this shift that is going to allow you to rise because competition is falling away and you get to be better at what you do. I want you to double down on what you do really well. I'm going to talk about what that looks like today. And I want you to listen. I want you to learn. Who are you watching? Who are you listening to? Go on YouTube and just search it. It's a search engine. And find the people that seem to be working towards thriving and not just complaining. Okay? So, I want you guys to write this down on your forehead backwards so you see it in the mirror. The market does not dictate your success. The market dictates your what? Does anybody know what that word is? Say it loud.
Direction.
Close. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
That's not the word I use, but that's the intent of the word. The market dictates your strategy. The market does not dictate your success, guys. It has nothing to do with it, because in the worst market where you failed miserably, somebody else had the most amazing year they've ever had. The market is neutral. Stop giving it power. The market is just what it is. Stop giving it power. The market dictates our strategy. And I know that I can survive in any market. If it's we have no inventory, then I become a listing agent. That makes life really easy. If we have 10 months of inventory, then I'm the highest level buyer's agent there's ever been, right? You guys get it? For real. And those of you that have been in the business a long time, you know this. But I want this to be your mantra through this change that we're going through, right? So 3 things I'm working on right now. Shrink this little face thing of mine because it's really annoying me because it keeps getting in my way. Okay. Elevate. Write that word down. Elevate. You guys are already rock stars. Doing a great job. Your buyers love you. You've helped people. You've closed deals. You've had the happy moment. But it's time to elevate your game. We can't just take the call, show the house, write the contract, la, 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 right? We're going to elevate our buyer's process. I'm going to show you very specifically what that looks like. I have the template for my new buyer consultation booklet that you guys will get to have today and make it your own. Use it if you want. I'm giving it to you for free. Elevate your seller process. These things probably seem pretty basic. You're like, Monica, did you really come with these 2 things? But guys, if you haven't started on this yet, it's time. What does that look like? How are you going to show up differently than others? Right? And the last thing I think is the most important thing. I want you to double down on a niche. Why do I think that doubling down on a niche is the biggest strategy right now that will work long term? Why do you guys think?
I think your efforts are just laser focused. So when you spend 80% of that energy in a 20% of the market, you're going to explode.
That's right, because you're going to be an expert and you're going to be known for that. Now, what's the biggest fear that you have, that most agents have about niching?
Losing out on other.
That's right.
Okay.
And who else just was going to chime in? Is that what you were going to say too?
Yeah, reduces your potential.
Yeah. I promise you that's not going to happen. You won't. You won't. I've got an agent here in Cincinnati who is we went to school together, Hondros together in 2003. And from the day she got out of there, she was Cincinnati Modern. She was modern homes. She loves modern homes. She knows all the architects. She knows all the history of just about every cool house that there is in Cincinnati. And every other week, she's listing some sort of Cape Cod or transitional basic house. But guess what? If you need a modern house, you want to build, you want to buy, you want to know what's going on, you're going to Susan's website for that. I go to Susan's website for that, right? But she's still selling all kinds of houses. She's known for that. It won't happen. It's a fear. It's not a real fear. Okay. So let's go into each of these and I'll tell you just where I am on this. Again, that's what this is. This is more like a peek inside kind of my brain and where we are on these things right now. So let's talk about elevating the buyer process. I'm not going to embarrass. I'm just not embarrassed. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot right now. So don't freak out. But raise your hand if you can, in 1 or 2 sentences, tell me exactly what your unique value proposition is. Raise your hand. Say it in a sentence. A lot of people are hiding behind their cameras, so I can't see. I
I'm
didn't
a
see
problem,
anybody.
I'm a problem solver.
Okay, that's your unique value
Mhm.
proposition. Awesome. Let's define that a little bit more. Let's get that language a little bit more relatable to the buyer or the seller from a real estate standpoint. And let's make that the sharpest sentence you've ever created in your life and be really clear on what that means for them, the why behind that value proposition. That's a great start. And I love that you have that. And the fact that nobody else raised their hand, or at least I didn't see you guys, so maybe I missed some people, but that means we need to spend time there. I was just in a training with an AI expert, by the way, leaning into that because I don't want to be left behind, even though I'm going to be like a grandma by the time AI is a whole thing, probably. But listen, I'm going to be a grandma with a computer, at least, leaning into AI. And he said, he was teaching us how ChatGPT can help you create your UVP. And you can program it to ask you questions about your business and your strengths. Ask me 25 questions. It's a little bit longer than that, his whole thing. But if you don't, what is his name right now? I'm spacing on it.
Were you with Phil?
Yeah, Phil.
He's been a guest already on here.
Okay. Listen, he probably gave you those prompts about UVP. He gives you that little, yes, okay. Do that. Get your UVP, okay? It's critical because if you're clear on it, then everything you do is easy. It's a framework for everything you do. Your social media, your buyer consultation, your listing pack, all the things. It's really clear. It's your elevator pitch, right? I want you to elevate your initial conversation language. That conversation when the buyer reaches out through text or messenger or phone and says, I'm looking to buy a house right now. I have a house I want to go see. Can you show it to me? What are you going to say? How are you going to manage that? What is your system? How do you get that buyer's agreement signed for that one-time showing, which by the way, I'm assuming, is everybody here at EXP, Peggy?
I think so. I had one guest or so. I invite other people, so.
Okay. If you're at EXP, inside of the docks in Sky Slope, there is a single use buyer agreement. They've already got it out. It's for one showing. It's so simple. Nobody's going to hesitate to sign it. And so read it thoroughly, understand it, decide how to talk about it, decide how to ask for them to sign that. You've got to work your language out. Same with, a buyer with time, meaning, hey, we want to have you over to the house. We're thinking about moving. And I always love those, right? When you've got time, then you can take them through your process. But you need to understand what your process is if you don't have time. because you gotta have a process for that too, right? What is that process? If you don't lead them through a process, then they will lead you through theirs. And that is messy as hell.
Say that again, Monica.
If you don't lead them through your process, then they will create their own process. And, that feels like you've got a leash on and you're being led by the buyer. And we all know how awful that feels. It's really bad. And I've been there. Listen, I've been there. So what is your process? People want to be led. They like steps. They like knowing where they are. Your job is to lay that out for them and show them that you have them covered, that you're protecting them, that you know what's coming and you know where they should be. You got to have that. You probably have it in your mind, but I want you to be able to convey that to your buyers and really have a standard in your life that if they won't conform to your process, then they're not a good buyer for you. Because they're going to cause you problems for the rest of time, right?
Mhm.
That's just the way that goes. So you're going to have standards. You're going to have your documents, whatever that is, your leave behinds, your things your questionnaires, like whatever you use to do a really good job for them. You're going to know if you do, a Zoom, if they want to be in person, if they do a phone call, you're going to have your plan for that ahead of time, right? I want you to get totally comfortable with your buyer broker agreement. Not only that one-time one I mentioned, but whatever one you're going to be using, or if you have been using it, great, good for you. But you need to read every sentence of that, absorb it, understand how to talk about it, make them feel comfortable with it. It's amazing to me how many agents have never read line by line all the documents that we have people sign. That's amazing to me. This is your job. This is your job, is to know these docs, all right? So what are you willing to do through the buyer process that others don't? I used to have a Sprinter van, this really cool Mercedes Sprinter van. It was decked, captain's seats, 2 TVs, a bathroom in the back. I mean, the thing was awesome. We bought it during COVID, like everybody else, because we had these, great ideas of traveling the country and whatever. Well, my 17-year-old, who was not 17 at the time, started growing up and decided he didn't like to spend as much time with us as he once did. Can you all relate? And then my mom, who lived with us, who we'd kind of bought it for because she has she had a kidney transplant and her immune system is very low. So she wasn't great through airports and big busy places. So we thought, oh, great, we'll still be able to drive to Florida or we'll take her here. Well, she got car sick in it. So this whole thing freaking blew up. But I thought to myself, if I had the thing right now, that's what I'd pick up buyers in. I'd create an experience for them like no other. Right? I'd even hire a driver to go pick them up and take them. It would be so cool. That's obviously extreme. Don't go buy a Sprinter van for this. But what are you willing to do for your buyers before they buy, while they're buying, and after they buy? We lose it there, guys. And that's where referrals are. And that's where past clients come, next client, right? Is that 1 year after. Okay? Questions on that before I go to the seller process? Actually, I'm going to show you my buyer thing now. Hold on. And I'm going to present this to you. Okay. So, can you all see this?
Yep.
Okay. This is on 80-pound stock paper, 80 pounds, really heavy, really nice. The good binding, not the comb binding, good binding. Nice linen covered back. It's nice. It's a good thing, right? I just printed this. Cost me $23 print one of these. I'm quite sure I can get that down if I had more time, right? I did this because I needed to get it done. I had to go to FedEx, whatever, which is like the worst. Can you all see this now?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't want you to call it a buyer consultation guide. Like, that's our language. Think about your buyers as you put your process together. Put yourself in the seat of a buyer that maybe has never bought, or maybe has only bought 1 or 2 times, and talk to them like from that language. That's my biggest advice through all of this, is make sure you have the right glasses on. So mine is just called Let's Buy a House, right? It's action-based, it's success-based, it's stupid simple. It's what they're thinking. Let's buy a house, right? And I'm going to protect them every step of the way. Here we go. Please, so sorry, backwards one. I guess there's like a little delay on this thing. Okay. So this is just the successful steps as I'm sitting down, because you must sit down with these guys. If they won't sit down with you now, they're also the type that'll go do something behind your back, right? If they're very serious and they want protected, they understand your value, they will sit down with you. They're excited to do so. So I just walk them through, hey, look, we're having this meeting right now and we're going to get you approved. I go over this like really high level. Okay. And you guys are going to get this if you want to mess around with this yourself. Okay. And this is their leave behind, or their takeaway. And then I go through their wish list. And this is a whole nother class I teach. I'm not going to go deep into this, but I want you to do this in a certain way where you're asking questions behind their answers. Don't just take number of beds and baths and write it down. Why is 4 beds important to you? Well, da 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 da. All right. You needed an office out of that. So if I had 3 bedrooms and an office, that'd be good. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, big difference, right? You guys got to ask questions. So the wish list is just to kind of help me walk through my line of questions, which is very detailed and very long. So that seems really simple right there, but it's a very complicated and very detailed question process. And then I want to know some other things, like how do you make decisions? We're going to talk about how we get paid later in this conversation, guys. Have you ever heard of buyer's remorse? You guys ever had buyer's remorse? Like, this is what I'm asking them. Tell me about the time you had buyer's remorse. I need to know that. If this is, oh, shit, we have buyer's remorse every time we do anything. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to have to work on this one, right? What is a showing assistant? Tee them up for the fact that you may not be the one that gets to go in there. But you're going to solve it. You're going to get them in there. And then how does that work when somebody shows you the house? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'm not going to, this is not a class about all this. And then decisions, guys, I want to run offense on or set expectations for what decisions they're going to need to make. If they have any pressing questions, they come up here. Otherwise, at least they've heard it, right? I do not go into all of these at great detail. I just want them to be ready. Okay. Okay. I bet most of you on this call have over time lost thousands of dollars in a paycheck because you didn't tell them up front about a for sale by owner or building a new home.
Mm-hmm.
If I could see y'all, I bet you'd raise your hands and say, yep, I've lost a paycheck due to that. And over time, it can be tens of thousands of dollars. All you have to do is have the conversation. Got to set the expectation. And I position this from their benefit. I want you to be able to be represented by me. And this is how that has to happen. Don't be shy about that, right? And then I say, let's make this official, guys. I want to talk about our commitment to you. I want to talk about your commitment to us. Why would we be embarrassed to say that?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about the financials. So we're going to go over this thing called buyer representation agreement, which is basically you and I agreeing to work with each other, which we can decide after this. If you want to interview other agents, that's great. I got to make sure I think I can deliver what you want, that you're good clients for me. Nothing works better than a takeaway, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like after this, I got to make sure I think I can deliver what you're looking for and that you make good clients for me as well. Oh, well, what's that? You know, what's that? So I pulled this off the NAR site, 105 ways that we, Sharon and I, will bring value to this huge life event. Again, I'm talking like them, right? I'm talking like them. This is through their eyes. Now, I'm not going to go through all 105 with them, but I'll probably have like my favorite 3 that I circle or 10 or something like that, right? But what does that 3 pages look like to them? Holy
A lot.
crap, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever I'm getting for or whatever I'm paying, this seems like good value,
A huge value.
right? 105 damn things I'm going to do for you, and probably some things that aren't even listed because we go above and beyond. Here's our information. Here are our preferred lenders. Now, guys, I'm going to ask you to sign this, whether that's today if you're ready or at some point. I just want to go over it briefly with you guys. This is what this paragraph means. This is what this paragraph is saying. This is your role. This is my role, right? And you have to have read this and get your language down so that you're comfortable when it's upside down and you're showing it to them. You're not reading this because it's upside down, right? Facing them. Make sense?
Yep.
Go through that. And guys, this is, this used to be, I say this now, this used to be something that was kind of voluntary. Some agents used it, some agents didn't. I used to use it, then I didn't. Now it's mandatory in our business. That's the good news here, guys, about this whole thing. Is you don't have an option. We've got to get these signed, right? It's good. It's a must. So let's look at commission payment options. You have options. In some cases, and we'll know as we go, many sellers will continue to offer a credit to you to offset my fees. Or we will negotiate with the seller through the offer to offset the fees. I'm talking to mortgage companies, and I know we have a fabulous loan officer on the call here that's been showing up constantly. Maybe she can put some things together too, but my guy here in Cincinnati is putting together savings solutions if the seller is not offering an offset. Also, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, keep an eye out for creative financing options coming from new loan programs. We're going to solve this. Everybody's going to be able to afford a loan or a buyer's agent. We can use gift funds. And of course, there's always the option that you'll cover the cost. That's the last one on this list, right? Do you have any questions? Let's talk about this and just see what's on their mind. I can tell you 9 times out of 10, this has been, no, that's good. Literally, no, that's good. Okay. So I'm sweating about it for nothing, right? And you are too, probably. Why won't this go? Well, hold on. It's like stuck. Okay. I think that's the last. Yeah, that's the last page anyway. Okay. I have at the end of this presentation, I have a link to the template in Canva for that, if you guys want it. All right. And then you can go through, make it your own, add to it. I've actually got some things I'm already thinking of adding to it. This will be a work in progress, as I mentioned to you guys. All right. How are we doing on time, Peggy? We've got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, we're good. And if you go over and people can stay, that's great.
I won't go over. That was the thing I was spending the most time on.
So Monica, I have a question for you. You taught a really great buyer representation class on how to make, this class is amazing on how to do the buyer representation. The other class that you talked about was doing a business through referrals. And I think this is something I would love to have you come back and teach
Sure.
in a few months, because I believe that our relationships that we make with these events that we go to are now more important, because before we just would look up a referral agent. Oh, okay, they're in that area. We have to know that's our money. Those are
Mhm.
our clients. Am I going to get $1, or is that agent that I'm referring to, are they as educated as I am? So
Absolutely. No, we can talk about how to interview agents for that referral. I think it's our job to find the right one that we're comfortable with.
mhm.
If I'm comfortable with them, then of course they're going to do a good job for my guys. Like I'm going to be the pinnacle of that critique, I would think.
But yeah, but I want to make sure I'm going to get paid, and that
Yeah,
they
for
are,
sure.
yeah, the education. So
For sure.
do you
Yeah,
want
you got it. We'll come
to
back and
question?
talk about that. You got it. No problem. Yeah, you got it. All right, guys, I want you to do the same thing for your seller process. Get what is your unique value proposition for your seller? What is that initial conversation language? Do you have a pre-listing questionnaire? If you do not, and you go to a listing appointment without having the answers to a pre-listing questionnaire, I believe you're almost in malpractice.
Hmm.
I know that sounds dramatic, but I mean it. If you don't have all the answers to what they owe on the property, what their motivation is, what they think is best about their house, what would they do to it if they didn't, where are they going, when do they need to be there, all the things that you walk into that listing presentation and you're just going to see the house and then show them your stuff and then hope they like it. It's not consulting. It's
And
selling.
Monica,
Yeah.
even more so, and I'm going to say this quickly, right now, sellers have learned that they can sue for anything.
Mhm.
That more than anything else, they're going to be future lawsuits. You've got to walk in, and as you said, you're looking at malpractice. If you are not doing exactly every single thing, you have to level up your game.
That's right. We need to be professionals now. We're not
Mm.
hobbyists anymore. And I know everybody on this call is a professional, so that's
They
good.
sure are.
Yeah. What is your unique seller process? Name it. Name it. Make people feel like, oh, I'm going through the, double, quadruple, blah, blah, blah process. Like, I don't know, name it, make it special. What are your standards? What listings will you take? What listings will you not? What people will you work with? What people will you not? What are your standards? Standards solve problems. If you're having a problem in your business, you don't have a standard around it. Put a standard in place, the problem will go away. Okay. What are your documents? What are your leave behinds? What does that look like? And do you have clear and concise communication points about their commission options and the benefits of offering the buyer concession to offset commission? You got to have something that looks professional, that you talk through the points the same way every time, that absolutely runs offense on any of their questions or challenges they might face, that you're prepared for those, that you believe it in your gut, that you believe these things is important, right? And what are you going to do that others won't? I believe that if a seller offers 3% to a 3% concession, now we call it, to the buyer to offset the cost of the blah, 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 I believe that does them a service. In my core, I believe that the name of the game for getting them the highest price is to expose it to the most buyers. And if you do not offer this, you are cutting your buyer pool in half or whatever, maybe more, who knows, right? Because if that buyer cannot pay for their own agent, but they would have paid you a premium dollar, P.S., an unrepresented buyer. I want you guys to imagine this. You've got the listing. Your unrepresented buyer is trying to navigate their own way through the most complicated purchase process there is. The minute it feels uncomfortable, those buyers are gone. They're going to walk. Something weird in the inspection. How many times have you saved a deal because you simply understood how to get the buyer the right information about that problem that was uncovered in the inspection, right? An unrepresented buyer is a dangerous buyer to the seller. And going back on the market when when a buyer flakes because they're not represented, they don't have anybody guiding them, hurts the seller. Those two things alone, the number of buyers that we get and the idea of not going back on the market because we have a loose and wild buyer unrepresented that doesn't have somebody guiding them. Those two things alone are reason I would pay, right? And there are a lot more, but you guys got to go searching that information and get that, okay? The last thing we will close with is double down on your niche, all right? Here are 4 types of niches. Location, so your subdivision, your neighborhood, a zip code. Demographics, income, age, profession, family status, lifestyle preference. Now you guys can specialize in these things. You can't exclude them from a sale, but you can focus on that avatar of a client, if you will. Property types, maybe you become the condo king. Luxury, a certain type of architecture like Susan with modern. Investment properties. And of course, there's situation, divorce, downsize, estate, multi-generational. What if you become an estate expert where you have a whole system where the seller, can come in and not have to deal with anything. You have the auction house contacts, you have the people that come in and clear the junk out, you have all these people that support this process, and you have a process, right? So in addition to the types of niche, these are things for you to consider as you pick your niche. Your interest and experience, like what do you know? Who are you? Because you know a lot about that. Your skill set, your knowledge. What are the client needs right now? We have a lot of baby boomers losing parents. Is a big thing, right? As they age, as they get into their 80s, these baby boomers. What the competition landscape is. Where is an unserved group that you're passionate about? What is the adaptability of that niche as a market shifts? Will that be there for as long as you want? And is it profitable? I'm not going to niche down on mobile homes. I don't even know if I can sell mobile homes, but you get my point, right? I'm not going to do that. That's a lot. I'm not going to niche down on the under 100,000 buyer. That just doesn't make any sense. Don't do it. Right? All right, we've done types of niches, things to consider. Identify your niche client profile through this. PFDD. Have you guys ever heard of this? It's really cool. First, describe your client. Then ask yourself, what pains and fears do they have? And what are their dreams and desires? PFDD. What pains does this person have? What fears do they have? What are their dreams and desires? Look at this example. So the seller is the child of a deceased seller, or the owner of the house is deceased. Or maybe they've moved into a care facility. So I'm going to ask myself, what are they thinking? Well, they're thinking, Jesus, where do I begin? Right? What do I do with the things I don't want anymore? Who do I sell some of these valuable things to? Should we do some cosmetic stuff to this house because it hasn't been fixed up in 20 years? Who should I hire to do that? Now, what dreams and desires? I want to focus on my parent. I want to focus on the loss or the grief or the parent in the nursing home versus the messy details of this process. I want to maximize the value of the contents in the house. I want it to be easy. Do you think when you do this that you could build a service around super serving a certain group? Yeah, right? Another example is I find homes for buyers who are looking for multi-generational living. Well, where do I begin to do that? What if we can't find something that'll work for us? What if we find a house that could work, but it needs changes? Who do we call for that? How much does that cost? Does that even exist? Are we doing this right? We want 2 separate living areas with 2 kitchens. We need 2 of the bedrooms to have ensuite bathrooms. We need to be able to create adaptability down the road if needed. Serve that group. Go find that solution. Build a process and a system that makes this too damn easy. Not only will you get a lot of referrals from future people once you help some of these clients, but also it's super easy to build your social media marketing out as a result of that, right? I want you to get a simple marketing strategy. YouTube, it's a search engine. Use it. Educate people through that. Purchase a list mailers for that client base. Do newsletters. Create a Facebook page for that group, whatever that is, okay? All right, so here's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a geographical one. Anderson Township is where I live. I'm building a YouTube page called Living and Loving Anderson Township, Ohio, because that's how people will search it, not my name. Nobody's searching Monica Weekly to find Anderson Township. They're searching Anderson Township to find Anderson Township, right? I'm secondary. If you want to see a great YouTube page along these lines, it's called Living in Dallas, Texas. Those guys get hundreds of leads a year incoming, inbound from their YouTube page, Living in Dallas, Texas. It's freaking brilliant. And I'm building it based on that. Purchase the mailing list. So I'm going to do luxury owners inside Anderson Township as like a second level niche, because I like making bigger paychecks. If I'm going to sell a house, it might as well be a good one, right? Join the Chamber of Commerce in that area. I'm going to attend township meetings, get involved, know the trustees, whatever. They're going to know me. They're going to know that I care about the market I live in and that I serve. I'm going to know the stats. I'm going to know new listings. I'm going to see the listings. I'm going to collab with other Anderson Township agents for off-market properties. I'm going all in my town. And you want to know why? It's totally selfish. So that I don't have to drive so damn far. Like, that's it. I want to make my life easy, guys. Make your life easy. And then I can take this opportunity to promote local businesses with like coupons or events or special nights or whatever, okay? Remember this, guys, in closing, in the absence of leadership, your client will try to lead. So it's time to be a leader. It's time to create a process, create steps that they can follow, that they can see the path that they're on, know where they are. They will like this. This will be good. All right. The second thing is price is only ever an issue in the absence of value. If you are worried that people are going to have an issue with paying you 3%, then you don't have enough belief in your value. So create it. Make it so ridiculous that you should be making 10%. Then it's easy to ask 3%. Right? It's the value. So it's time. We need to level up your leave behinds, your documents, level up your language, level up your process, the system, level up your standards. How does your business operate? When is it open? When is it closed? Who do you work with? Who do you not? Level up your standards and double down on a niche. I think niching is the #1 strategy going forward right now. I just believe that, okay? So take a picture of this QR code if you want the Canva template for the buyer consultation. I will warn you, I am a pro Canva subscriber, so I don't know if that will cause you a problem if you're not. I just really don't know how that'll work, but you can try it. I don't know if I even used any of the pro pictures. I'm not sure. I also invite you to join my free membership group that gives you a daily Facebook posting idea every single day, because you should be doing that. It's ghostposter.com with no E in the ER in the poster, just POSTR.com. It's free. And you'll get an email Monday through Friday that'll help you keep posting. Okay, I can't see anything, so I have no idea if we even have anybody else still on the call, Peggy. Or if anybody has any questions. Oh, we still do have a lot of people on the call. Yay, you guys are still here. Jamie does Ghost Poster every day. Yes, good. Good. Did I miss questions? I see the chat has been going crazy, but I haven't been keeping up with it. Oh, Peggy, I can't hear you. You're on mute, Peggy. I was like, did I lose it?
No, there you go.
Monica, this is awesome stuff. Just
great.
tons of great information this morning. Thank you for sharing it with us. I'm going to implement a bunch of it right away.
Good. I love it.
Yeah.
Do it. Get into action, guys. Don't sit with this information. Don't come to these things and then not do anything. That just is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right? Good. Thanks, Grady. I appreciate that. Jamie,
How'd you become an expert in Canva?
Oh
Was
my
it
I'm
intuitive or?
obsessed with Canva. It's very
Yeah.
intuitive. I've been doing it a long time, so it just takes time on task like
Yeah.
anything else. If I could quit selling houses, quit everything in my life and just do Canva for people, I would do it. And I'm not even that good at it. I just love it so much.
That's funny.
But listen, you can go to Fiverr, F-I-V-R,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
give them your raw notes and have them put a Canva
Okay.
presentation together for you. Pay somebody.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cheap. Yeah. Who do I watch? Jamie, I watch Jeff Glover. I watch all the leaders of EXP, especially Leo Perez, our new CEO. I watch BAM, B-A-M. What does that stand for? That guy's awesome. He does an update a lot. BAM, it's the Coffees for Closers guys, I think, or it's something like that. I don't know what the acronym stands for. BAM. Just
Okay, I'll look it up.
go on YouTube,
Yeah.
BAM Real Estate,
Okay.
NAR Settlement. You'll see a bunch of podcasts and interviews. I love those guys.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Monica, you have access obviously to our Wake Up Wednesday chat box and group. If you want to put things in there, we'd love to have you as a contributor.
I will.
What-
And when I get my listing thing done, I will put that in there too.
What book are you reading now?
Right now, I'm reading Worthy by, oh my gosh. Yeah, Janet gave me a thumbs up on that. Yes, you read it. You got it right there. Oh my God. She's so good.
Jamie, right?
Jamie, what's her last name? Janet, can you unmute yourself? Give everybody this book.
I have it too. It's wonderful.
Yes, Jamie,
good.
it's Jamie Kern, Kern, Lima, Lima.
Jamie sold her skincare line to L'Oreal for
It
billions of dollars or something.
It
Oh,
cosmetic.
yeah, part of this. Yep.
She's incredible. And I first heard her on a podcast, and she said this thing. And look, guys, I'm spiritual. I'm not organized religion. I don't do that, but I'm spiritual. And so I'm going to share this with you because it just hit me. She had somebody in her life. She had been rejected for something really big that she wanted. And somebody told her, God hid your value from them because they're not part of your plan. God hid your value from them because you're not part of the plan. I was like, what? Rewind. Like, whether you believe in God or just a higher power or whatever, like you can replace God with whatever you want. But this idea that I wasn't rejected, they just didn't see my value. I was like, that's life-changing shit right there. So I started following her, and then she wrote this book, and I bought it. So yeah, she's super interesting. She's been down and out on her luck more times than any of us on this thing could even imagine. And she has quite the story.
I started with her over 10 years ago when she was selling It Cosmetics on QVC, and everyone laughed at me that I was buying my stuff on QVC, but it was because of her.
Wow.
And her story, and look at her now.
I mean, and one of those QVC things, like that was a make or break for her. That was like, go totally into debt, lose it all or make it. One of those probably helped her make it.
Well, I'm sure I did. So anyways, okay, good. So, the name of the book again is Worthy. By Dee Kern.
Yes.
And, Monica, I want you to know that Dee, who is holding up that book, she was the first one to speak. She is one of our newest agents.
Yeah.
And
hi, Dee.
I love her. And yesterday I was having a little downtime of teary because I've got an 18-year-old now with my godson, and it's not easy. Never been a mom before. And Jamie, your timing of sending me that little message of gratitude
Oh,
was
see,
unbelievable.
kindness saves lives in a lot of time, in a lot of examples.
It does.
No freaking
Peggy, you
easy.
popped into my head and I'm like, I've got to send Peggy this message. Isn't it weird how things
The
work?
timing, I literally was sitting there crying when you sent
And
me
I
that.
love that. Oh my God, I love that. Thank you, Peggy. That
Well,
makes my day.
That's so
You're
cool.
welcome.
Sometimes you think the person's so busy, why are you bothering them? But for some
Never.
reason I said, I gotta bother Peggy.
Oh, I love that.
The timing was perfect.
Somebody said that the QR code wasn't working. Is that true, guys? Did anybody make it work? You got it to work? Okay. Whoever asked me that, I put my email in. If you just email me and ask me for it, I'll send it to you.
I'm also Canva Pro, so that could have been why I was able to open it.
Ah,
Well,
Janet,
maybe
we're gonna pick your brain on that. So
maybe you have to have a Canva account. I don't know.
It's gonna be
Canva's the
something.
best, y'all.
the other thing is just take it and oh, well, if you can't get to it, I was gonna say just send it to somebody to like mock up just like it. Jamie, I can figure it out with you. I can get it
Can
to
you
you.
post the QR code again? Maybe we can try again.
Yeah, try
one more
again.
time.
Here, hold
Let's
on.
see.
There you go.
I love your t-shirt every single day.
Every single day because it's consistency. And you, my friend, have proven that. Look what you've built here. Look at the community you've built, but it took time, didn't it? There was probably times you're like, why the hell am I doing this?
Why am I getting up at 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
And I've had people say to me, oh, you need to change the time. You need to do that. Bullshit. If you want to get up, get up. If you want to be
That's right.
part of this, this is what we've been doing for 2 years. This is where it is. And it's consistency. And I have to say thank you to Gene because he gave me this platform.
Oh.
And again, our second retreat is coming up. We're so excited. And if you want to get there, we will get you there. That's all I can say. It's in 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. And yeah.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
Peggy wants us there. We should.
The questionnaire somebody's asking about, I'll post that in the group, Jamie. This pre-listing questionnaire. It's requirement.
Cool. Well,
All right, guys.
I hate saying goodbye to you, but it's never goodbye.
Thank you for having me on this very important call and to get to see all these beautiful faces. Thank you, guys.
We love to have you back. Thank you,
Anytime. See y'all.
guys. Bye.
Bye,
Thank
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Peggy, Ashley, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
I hate saying goodbye.
Me too. I hate it. I hate it. Plus, this is the best. This is the highlight of my day. So this is like the best time. I love it. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you so much for everything.
Dee Dee, call me because I sent you that text. I want to make
I
this happen.
know. And
Okay.
I'm due to speak that week. I'm a parent ambassador at our school.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yes, and if they would give me a date, that would help me gauge. And if they can skip it to the following week, even better, because I don't know what the rush is. But yeah, they want me to
Yeah,
speak.
you
I don't
show
even
up
know
the
what to
last
say yet.
time. Hey, Brad.
Huh?
And Brad's there. Brad, get on a plane and come to our
Hi,
retreat.
Brad. Are you guys going
Just give me a
to
good morning.
build it? Oh,
We'll figure it
are
out.
you
Brad,
going?
we need to talk. Call me this week, okay?
Okay.
Are
Hi,
we
Brad.
going? Are we going where?
Build at sea? Build at sea?
I'm going to build at sea. I'm going on the cruise.
Yes, I'm also going, thank God.
Good.
Because
Good,
I've
good.
never been to, and EXPCon, of course, which is a biggie. I missed it last year.
So-
So we'll see you there. It
All
sounds
right.
like fun.
It will.
Bye, Peggy.
I'm gonna go. Talk to you
Yeah,
guys later.
bye. Later. Mwah. Bye.
Love. Bye.